right, good evening, everybody. It is Thursday night, or as I like to call it, Friday Eve, here at Beyond the Airwaves, the Infinity Project. And tonight, since we had our triple anniversary party last night, we just decided to move Rant Rocket Wednesday to Rant Rocket Thursday. And guess what? We're going to rename that next week. We'll tell you more about that a little later.
Yep. We're
Anyway,
we're we're doing some mass renames of episodes. They're
hmm
still gonna be the same episodes you know and love. It's just we for mm, it's kind of my idea.
hmm
We kind of I kind of thought why not just do our episodes
in
in a
simplified fashion.
well, not simplified, in
Mm,
alliteration.
Yeah.
Okay, and for those that don't understand what alliteration means, it basically means where we use two letters. So let's say Monday, we come up with something that has an M in it as
hmm
well.
hmm
So alliterations for all is
Yep.
what we're trying to do.
Right. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Anyway, I'm your host for tonight. I am Oddbog Stream. I'm currently joined on the line by four of my crazy cohorts. First, we got Spirit Spotter Tim. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, my dear.
We also have our master and creator, Frodo. Hello, Frodo.
Hello, and I just want to say before we start, for those that are friends with me on my Facebook and are interested in why I said I was heartbroken, I'm just going to say a friend of mine committed suicide.
Yeah.
Oh,
hmm
that is something we should touch on one of our
We've touched up
things.
on it. We have actually touched on it before, right?
Well, maybe
We
we ought to
have,
touch on
but
it again.
Yeah, we'll probably have to do it again.
I'm so sorry to hear that,
Yeah. We also,
Frodo.
we also have our resident Joker, Mike. Hello, Mike.
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
And we also have our star child, Janet. Hello, Janet.
Hello, and if I start zoning out, if I
You may not
start
have
zoning,
to because of the because of the dog bark.
if I start zoning out, I took a nice in between shower, and it feels so good.
Yep.
Okay,
all right, so tonight, since it's Rant Rocket Thursday, and yes, that will be changing. Let's discuss the name changes before we get going with the episode proper, you guys.
Okay.
So Monday, we decided. I kind of was thinking about it, and I didn't like how things were rolling off the tongue. It's not that they were bad names.
Mhm.
It's that I like stuff that kind of rolls.
Yeah, I
If
gotcha.
you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like what Doctor like an example. Doctor Smith would call that robot, "You rambunctious robot," something like that.
or your bubble-headed booby.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
just
was his main one.
Mhm.
I like stuff that kind of rolls off the tongue and is easy for people to say so that the content of whatever we're discussing is easier for you to remember as an audience. So, by that standard, we have decided to rename most of our episodes. Thursdays, we are keeping the same. They are going to be our wild card episodes. So, depending on what is going on that Thursday, that episode title will change. So, Secrets of the Unknown is still Secrets of the Unknown. Food Fascinations is still Food Fascinations. Attention to One, still Attention to One, okay?
Yep.
No
Hey,
changes there.
Mhm.
But from now on, Hello New Week, good, goodbye New Week, goodbye weekend, Hello New Week on Mondays will be called Monday Mania.
Mhm.
I thought
Tuesday,
Manic Monday would be good, but
Yeah,
I
but
think it would be a copyright infringement on the song of the same title.
by the Bengals. Yep.
exact, and that's why I wasn't keen on Manic Monday, is
Mhm.
because we've already gotten copyright strikes on Facebook, on YouTube. We don't need any more.
Yeah.
Tuesdays,
Hey, where is
what
this
was
rocket launch at?
on Tuesdays, we're going to go with Tune In Tuesdays. TUNE. And that's a reference to the fact that most of what we discuss we want people to tune into.
Mhm.
Whether it be tune in on the radio, tune in on your phone, tune in on whatever. It doesn't matter.
Tune in on your
PC,
Echo.
PS4,
Oh,
Xbox, Switch,
Yep.
etc.
Andy, Andy, I'm
Wednes-
so
Wednesday, we're switching it to Warzone Wednesday as a replacement for Rant Rocket Wednesday.
Mhm.
And that was the one that kind of started me on this path. So, Rant Rocket Wednesday is now Warzone Wednesday.
Mhm.
And then Friday, we're going to call it Fun Day Friday, meaning because we have fun on that day
Mhm.
and it's a great day to have fun, so Fun Day Friday.
Yep. Exactly.
So, from not this week, we're starting this next week
Mhm.
on those will be our episode titles.
Yep.
And over the next couple days, we're going to have all of the animations and everything updated to fit that,
Okay.
which isn't that hard to do
No.
given that we have everything saved in one location.
Yep.
So, I just wanted to let our listeners know that there will be some changes, but it's going to be in the end of everything, it's the same old Beyond the Airwaves,
Yep.
just with alliterative names.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
with
Let's
that out of the way,
let's roll it off the tongue.
yep, with that out of the way, and you can hear my wife in the background.
Yeah.
I know the see Great Clips has COVID-19 restrictions.
So, I'm going to get I'm gonna start tonight's rant rockets by launch it up, Shirley.
Ah. Rant Rocket coming up.
And before I get started, this is not intended to be political. This is intended to be humanitarian in nature.
Okay. All right. One Rant Rocket coming up. Take cover.
Oh, Christy, you can say first.
Okay. We're done with that part. You
Okay,
may.
I'm gonna mute for a minute because I got a phone call to make.
Okay.
Yep. So for those that didn't watch uh the debate because either they hate Donald Trump and didn't want to hear him yammer and yammer and yammer, and trust me, he did a lot of that. Um, what you may not know is he was asked a direct question by Mr. Wallace, Christopher Wallace from Fox News. And I have to say, Christopher Wallace and Joe Biden handled this question with grace. They asked Mr. Trump, do you condemn white supremacy in all of its forms? Donald Trump did not
Nope.
say that he condemns it. In fact, his message to the Proud Boys, which is a white supremacist group that formed immediately before Donald Trump took office, his message to the Proud Boys was stand down and stand by.
Mhm.
I'm pissed about this. And I'm pissed for a very, very good reason that if anyone who knows me knows who anyone who claims to know me knows I lived in a neighborhood in my city where it was literally just myself and one other family were the only Caucasian families in the area. And this went for for at least 3 blocks. We we were it.
Hmm.
Do I hate that? No.
Hmm.
It taught me something. It taught me the sanctity of all human life. That no matter what color a person is of their skin, it doesn't matter. Every human is the same. Not any single type of person is supreme to anyone else. I am going to say this once and once only in regards to Beyond the Airwaves itself. We have always and will always be equal opportunity. We don't care what you are, what who you love, none of that. You are all always welcome on this show. Unlike Mr. Trump, who seems to think that he can dictate who's the best.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the facts. And this is the fact that I need to bring out. And unlike a lot of news sources, Fox News, um, we try and do facts along with our opinions. Here's the fact: Donald Trump, during the debate, did not directly or indirectly condemn white supremacy. Here's the opinion: the fact that the President of the United States chose not to tell white supremacists to shut down up and get with the times should tell Americans everything they need to know. If another 4 years of Trump happens, and God I hope not, but if another 4 years of Trump happens, I have friends who are of Asian descent who have literally told me that they are scared for their lives every day because they get harassed for their color, the color of their skin, the nationality they came from, the fact that they're legal immigrants. Okay? This is a vitriol we haven't seen in this country in, I want to say, about a century.
Mm.
I can't, I'm just guessing here, so please, if I'm wrong about this, I'm sorry. But I think it's been about a century since we've seen this level of vitriol in this country with regards to race. Do I like it? No. As I said, as I stated before, I was raised among a lot of different races, a lot of different nationalities, a lot of different types of people. And you know what every single one of them shared in common?
What?
The fact that they were all human fucking beings. Not one of them was anything but a human. And the fact that some of these people who embolden the President of the United States scares me. Scares me for this country, scares me for my friends, and scares me for what could happen. Here's the thing: we are becoming just like Nazi Germany. And it's all because one man has decided to essentially take 50 years of racial equality that we have gained in our world, in our existence of this country, and throw it down the tubes. This single fact cannot be disputed, and I'm going to say it. Anyone who supports this kind of vitriol, and this is my opinion, so please don't get mad at me for my opinion because everyone in this country has a right to an opinion. However, everyone who supports this type of vitriol in this country, in my opinion,
Mhm.
shouldn't even be here. We are a country built upon the backs of immigrants, on the backs of people who are different, on the backs of humans trying to be free from persecution.
Mhm.
And we're back to persecution because of one man. I want to bring it to everyone's attention, and I want everyone to really, on November 3rd, think about what you're doing at the polls and think about what your decision could do to friends and family that may not be from this country or of your skin color, because we are all one great big family. If anyone else on the show has anything to say with regard to this, I was not trying to go too political, but it needed to be said. Does anyone else have anything to say about that?
Nope, I think you pretty much nailed it as far as I'm concerned.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry if anyone's offended by political discussion, but that is from now on for the rest of this year, well, the rest of this election cycle, until this election is over. Beyond the Airwaves will not be going into political discussions so much. We may still breach into subjects that, like today's, that have an effect on humanity in general. But if we become political, it's because we have to for whatever's going on. We do not like politics so much. Well, I kind of like to discuss it because it is important, but it it's not something that the rest of the team really likes, so I don't want to go too much into it. From now on, we are going to limit our discussion of politics.
Thank you.
So, does anyone else want to say anything regarding this discussion that we just had? Table's open.
Hmm. Yep, that's for sure. All right. Well, let's see. Is there anything else on your end on there, Frodo?
I'm good.
All right. Okay, I've been wanting to get to this particular story since I had posted it last week. It was last Friday. Out of Louisiana, that fourth grader his virtual learning home. He gets suspended for having a BB gun in his bedroom, which we all believe is absolutely bullshit.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna put it in the chat if it'll let me. Thank you. And then I'll go put it in Discord as well. To the story repository. Give out the my laboratory. Let's see. So today. Oh, I'm sorry. It's 10 now. 10/01/2020. All right. So let's go to the picture-in-picture Chrome here, and here we go. Like I said, this was posted back on the 24th. So, fourth grade virtual learner gets suspended for having a BB gun in his bedroom, and this is out of New Orleans. 9-year-old Kamari Harrison is a fourth grader at Woodmere Elementary, and this year he's a virtual learner, so his classroom is in his bedroom. The school suspended Kamari for violating a federal weapons law. I feel like they were picking and totally just invading privacy. We can't have no privacy in the house, Nyron Harrison said. On September 11th, Kamari was taking a test on a computer when his dad says Kamari's brother walked into the room and tripped over Kamari's BB gun. Kamori picked it up and moved it out of the way, out of the walking path. When he moved it, he picked it up briefly and set it on the other side of him, Harrison said. According to the paperwork from his expulsion hearing, the teacher's account of what happened matches Kamari's. She stated he placed it on the side of the chair so we could only see the barrel. You know, she had an obligation to report this to the principal, but her obligation ended there, and from there is where everything went awry, Harrison's attorney Chelsea Cusimano said. Cusimano attended Kamari's hearing. The policies in place are so robotic in nature to apply to guns on campus. They went into his school year without any policy or procedure on how to handle the privacy of someone's own home, Cusimano said. The Jefferson Parish school system told us they don't comment on individual student records but pointed to its online policies. Now, here's where you could get mad. The policy stated in part illegal carrying, possession, or use of a firearm or dangerous weapon within the boundaries of school property or on a school bus is a crime. How can somebody's house be school property?
It's not.
No. This is a privacy issue. Not only is this a due process issue and an intentional issue of emotional distress on a 9-year-old child, it is a Second Amendment right to bear arms issue, Cusimano said. I think all of this could have been thrown out the window when the teacher found out what the situation was, Harrison said. Nyron Harrison doesn't believe his home should be considered an extension of school property and says his son became humiliated when the school asked his classmates to write letters about the incident.
What?
Yeah, embarrassed and he felt like he did nothing wrong, Harrison said. School officials suspended Kamari for 6 days. He's now been submitted for a social worker assessment. This is not a child that needs a social worker's assessment, Cusimano said. The weapons violation is now a part of Kamari's permanent public school record. It's going to follow him to college, picking colleges and whatnot, Harrison said. This is a prejudgment of a 9-year-old that will impact his educational career for the rest of his life, Cusimano said.
Okay, I'm gonna say right now that the opinions I have on this may not necessarily be those of anyone else on BTA. However, before we get going,
Mm-hmm.
you, the school district, are fucking smoking crack, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, let's get into what school property is before we get going.
Mm-hmm.
School property is defined as the area in which a school takes place in a physical building. Am I wrong?
No.
Now, if the school happens to be located in a child's bedroom because of a pandemic going on, school property cannot be extended as such to that real property because the school district doesn't pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? As such, the school district doesn't have a fucking say in what goes on in that home.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Mr. Superintendent of whatever fucking school district you think you fucking control because you're a fucking tyrannistic little fucking bastard who thinks that he needs to control every fucking aspect of his little students' lives.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, did I say that out loud? Fuck
Yeah,
it!
you did.
I meant every fucking.
Please don't kick us off the air for this.
Okay, well, guess what? There's actually been an update today. The Attorney General for the state of Louisiana is going to try to help Kamari.
That's good.
Yo, all right.
Mm-hmm.
But
So,
but
yes.
my viewpoint stands.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, let me put that in there. Okay, so I was just looking up to see if there was an update, and this was actually posted today at 5 o'clock. So, and this is from bearingarms.com. So, if you've been following the story of Kalmori Harrison, the 9-year-old from Harvey, Louisiana, who was suspended from school after briefly and accidentally displaying a BB gun during an online class, you know that the state's Attorney General, Jeff Landry, has taken an interest in the case, calling what happened to the young man an outrage and vowing to help him and his family find some justice. And this is the author. I'm very pleased that the Attorney General could join me on today's Bearing Arms Cam and Company talk about the case, including some important new developments. Landry revealed during the interview that not only is his office prepared to do what it can within the legal system to help Harrison, but that several lawmakers in Baton Rouge are also interested in writing legislation that would hopefully end the possibility of school districts invading the privacy of students' homes during online class sessions and punishing them for protected First and Second Amendment activities. Landry notes that legislators have just returned to the state capitol for a special session, and he predicts that by the time the session concludes, the legislature will have passed a bill. Whether or not Governor John Bell Edwards, no relation, would go along and sign the bill is an open question at the moment. The governor has not weighed in on the Harrison case, though it seems like everyone else in Louisiana has offered their own opinion. On Wednesday, the Advocate newspaper opined that Harrison deserves to be cut a break by the Jefferson Parish School District. And this is in their words, in the Advocate's words. The school investigation and district hearing don't seem to have taken into account that Kalmari meant no harm, the weapon was a BB gun, and he was moving it because his brother tripped. At this point, the suspension has been served and it is on his school record. The case has gotten a lot of local, state, and national attention. CBS, CNN, The Washington Post, The New York Times, USA
And
Today, and
beyond the airwaves now.
yep, and media abroad, yes, all, have published stories about Kamari's case. Though the matter has been officially resolved, it's clear that this was a young boy doing his best to be a mature, responsible student. The suspension time cannot be given back, but Kamori's record can be cleared by removing the suspension so it doesn't become a hindrance to his academic progress at Woodmere in the Jefferson Parish Schools District or elsewhere years to come. The district superintendent and school officials should show Kamori what responsible leadership looks like by withdrawing his suspension and wiping his school slate clean. That would be a good start, though I'd add that the school district owes Kamori and his family an apology as well. The problem is that this could happen to any student in any school district, and we've already seen how the Jefferson Parish school officials have dug in their heels and are resisting any attempt to make amends for their overreaction. I'm looking forward to seeing the specifics of the legislation that is in the works in Baton Rouge, and hopefully it could serve as a model for other states as well as helping to ensure that kids in Louisiana aren't punished for doing what any normal kid would do in the same situation. Um, there's that video above. You can look at it whenever. But honestly, I think we can all agree this is absolutely stupid. Because since when is someone's home school property? It isn't.
Indeed.
Let me ask this question one more time. When did since when did someone's home become school property? It
Yep.
doesn't. Now, if the school district wants to go forward and pay the mortgage, lights, internet, gas, water, garbage, uh,
Mm-hmm.
whatever other bills for every single house to every single child in their school district, fine. Then
Mm-hmm.
then you have a right to say whatever the fuck you want about what's going on inside people's homes.
Mm-hmm.
But until you pay every single fucking dime of every single person's um, bills in that district, your opinion, and that's exactly what it is,
Mm-hmm.
your opinion means precisely this: jack shit.
Mm-hmm. Because the problem is this is one incident. Who knows how many more there may actually have been that have not been reported to the news, right?
Exactly. And you know, when one story is reported to the news, there's a very high likelihood that similar stories have happened elsewhere in the country.
Yeah, like I can probably tell you what if a teacher sees a child's asthma medication or something in the shot? Are they going to get suspended for that? Are they going to get suspended for someone's butter knife or something?
I've actually gotten in trouble for butter knives.
Hmm.
It happens.
Yeah. Like what if someone sees a knife in someone's room or something? That knife could be like a Swiss Army knife or something like that. Completely folded up. They can probably still report and say, "Oh, you got a knife. You can't have that." Right? But the fact of the matter is, I think we're all in agreement here. The school district has overstepped their bounds because that's just plain stupid.
Let's just put it this way. Hypothetically speaking, if me and my wife had kids right now and our kids were doing distance learning, we'd have to be very, very careful where they were angled
Uh huh.
because here's the thing. Behind where I sit in our studio where me and my wife live, for those that don't know, yes,
Mhm.
our studio is our homes.
Yeah.
um, right behind where I sit is a walking staff that is solid enough to be used as a very, very effective weapon.
Mhm.
I also have a katana that is sheathed.
Mhm.
I have another sword which Tim knows about and he's seen, which is unsheathed.
Mhm.
I also have two Bowie knives, and I have um a Swiss Army knife, plus all my kitchen knives that are sharp as fuck.
Right.
If we had kids and they in our school district tried to do something like that, oh, trust me, the school district wouldn't like me. Because
Yeah.
I'd literally look at them and say, okay, so my child never touches these things.
Yeah. It's almost like saying, "Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry."
Oh no, 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 no. I'd be the Avengers version of the Hulk.
Ah.
What's my secret? My
I'm always
secret is
angry.
I'm always angry.
Mhm.
Let's go, boys.
Yeah. I mean, but seriously, this is a situation where it looks like every school district in the country is going to have to understand, like, kids are having to learn at home. It's not
What
like they're able to do things in school right now.
what what do you think, Tim?
Uh, I'm kind of distracted by something here that's going to result in a topic change for Secrets of the Unknown next week.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Um, so forgive me for not paying attention here, but um, yeah, I kind of want to get this done. There's something kind of big going down, and I'm sorry to take the floor away from the subject matter. I'll try to keep this short.
Okay.
I was going to talk about a location in New Orleans next week
Mhm.
with appropriate viewer and listener discretionary advisories. And I'll delve more into this topic that I'm going to change it to next week when the episode actually airs. But I'm going to hold off on that topic and switch to this one. And this could actually be a good attention to one episode topic as well.
Okay.
We could even combine them into 1 week if you
Okay.
want to.
Sure.
Um, I'm sure a lot of you either have watched paranormal television or even if not, you've undoubtedly heard about it.
Mhm.
Shows like Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Nation, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And I've made multiple references on Secrets of the Unknown how I feel about these shows. Um, there is a subject going on, and I'll delve more into this next week because this is going to be the new topic. How many of you have watched the reborn Ghost Hunters?
No, I haven't.
I hope either that none of you did or that you don't take it seriously.
You mean they've done another version of Ghost Adventures?
No, Ghost Hunters. The
Ghost
show was
Hunter.
revived under Grant, but not Jason. And Jason and his team have their own separate show now.
Mm-hmm.
And Ghost Hunters, aside from Grant, has a whole new team of investigators.
Okay.
I've just been made aware tonight that one of my friends that I'm going to see at Wilson Castle in 3 weeks was blocked on Facebook by one of the cast members of the show for simply disagreeing with an opinion that this person posted that really is nothing more than an opinion, but he's passing it around as fact.
Mm-mm.
And he was caught in now deleted comments talking bad about a property that's extremely high on my bucket list and a place that a lot of my paranormal friends have visited and investigated and filmed at and made some rather less than professional comments about.
Okay.
Basically, the original post is, and I this is something he posted a couple days ago. This is by Brandon Albus. He writes, "It's very unfortunate that there are people that own historical buildings that distort the history for money and notoriety. I refer to this as paranormal malpractice. Don't be fooled by their cry for money and attention." And since deleted comments, my friend wrote, "Then there are people and teams that like to hide the truth and distort fact to make the owners who work hard on said locations non credible. Not everyone does rituals. Some people, like myself, dig deep into the history of locations. One location of which I am sure you're speaking of has never had satanic rituals performed by any owner. I myself have dug deep into the history of said location. It's accusations like these that make me discredit reality show investigators, which has already got me clapping wildly. But in screenshots captured, and I'm not, it doesn't show the whole post, so I'm not going to bother to share it. He makes comments about um, the levels of professionalism that Lionsgate and A&E TV expect of the investigators on Ghost Hunters, and he comments, and this is just a portion of the comment. So again, I understand you may like Adam, referring to Adam Kimmel, the owner of Madison Seminary, and the folks over at Madison, but I offer that there's absolutely no indication I conducted any, quote, bad research, end quote, whatsoever. I pride myself on triple and quadruple checking all of my facts, have worked as a journalist for years, have multiple degrees, including a master's, and I'm just going to stop it right there. Uh, if you're making comments like this on a post where you're accusing historical properties of so called malpractice,
That's a
you're a
problem.
joke. I'm sorry, you're a joke.
Mm-hmm.
You are no better than what a lot of people perceive, myself included, perceive Zach Bagans to be an actor and nothing more
Oh
than
yeah.
that.
Yeah, before you go on, Ashley's in the call and JJ's in the chat. So,
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Ashley.
all right, Tim.
Hi,
Hey.
JJ.
All right, Tim, you may proceed, please.
And so basically, what he's doing is he's presenting an opinion that he has based on limited research as fact using his status as a TV show investigator to act like he has any kind of
Credit.
authority over the subject matter.
Yeah, and that's wrong.
And
That's kind of like me as a host of a internet podcast, as the creator of an internet podcast, stating that my opinions are absolute fact. I've never done that. I will never do that. It is
Mm-hmm.
irresponsible of me to do that.
Mm-hmm. It's
And I
irresponsible for
made
any of us to do any of that in any situation, really.
a number of comments on my friend's post. I have not commented on Brandon's post. I'm kind of being a silent observer right now.
Yeah.
But just to prove something, and standard disclaimer before I go into my own comments, I know a large number of people who have investigated at Madison Seminary, people who know its owner, Adam Kimmel. I have seen lots and lots of video footage of this property. And I can tell you, having never set foot there, that Brandon Albus is full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he spent 20 minutes looking into the history of this building because of all the people who investigated there. Even Adam himself, if any kind of satanic ritual went on at this property, somebody would know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Do I take the word of one man who happens to be on television, or do I take the word of many who have spent countless hours at the property?
The countless hours of the property.
Absolutely. Now, let me share some comments I made on my friend's post. Uh, One of them I quoted Brandon saying, "You won't have to worry about a certain level of professionalism that Lionsgate and A&E TV expects from investigators." Dot dot dot. I didn't quote the whole sentence. I said, "Yes, Brandon. You haven't shown any of that so-called quote professionalism end quote. That you unfriend people who don't count your show amongst those they watch, and that you block someone who refutes what you post about a location you clearly haven't researched sufficiently. The fact that he posted what he did is proof that he has conducted bad research in the sense that it was practically non existent. If you're going to be professional on the level of airing
Do
on
your
TV,
homework.
Mm-hmm.
do your homework. Treat
Exactly.
treat the people who don't share your opinion and dissent with the respect and dignity they deserve.
Right.
Do not unfriend them because they don't worship your show. Do not block people because they call you out on your mistakes, even if not directly.
Mm-hmm.
Reading my friend's comment, he could have been referring to something other than what Brandon was.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, of all, what message are you sending your fans and your friends by blocking people like that?
Mm-hmm.
Now that part of it was not in my comment, but just something to note. And further on, I said, you know, I'm really tempted to unfriend him.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is an attack on a property that he clearly hasn't researched sufficiently, if at all, and he parades his opinion around like it's fact. Sorry, Brandon, but the fact that you are on TV does not make you an expert on the claims you are making.
Mm-hmm.
To put this in perspective, one of my friends commented on that saying exactly. He spent maybe 5 days at Madison, and people should trust you over the volunteers that have spent years investigating the history. I then went on to say, I see him repeatedly using the term, and I quote, paranormal malpractice, end quote. I suppose he'd be an expert on that, since malpractice cannot exist without a strict method of how things are done and which result in definite answers. You know, things the paranormal field cannot currently provide.
Mm-hmm.
That's why doctors get charged with malpractice. They do something wrong because there's a certain way things are supposed to be done and they're not being done.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta tell you something. My mother. Okay. My mother had. Talking about malpractice. My mother had a doctor, which I will never recommend because the guy's a crack case anyway. Um,
Overzealous religious nut, wasn't he?
no, 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 no. This is mom's doctor.
Oh, I thought he kept preaching.
No, no, no. That's
He was a
my
preacher
doctor.
doctor.
That's my doctor. Yeah,
That
but
was your doctor, huh?
yeah. Uh huh. Mom's doctor, I will tell you right now, Mom has had a development where she's had some little gallstones in her gallbladder. And she had told this doctor a couple years ago. The nurse told her that she's got it, but the doctor said, no, 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 she doesn't have it. I would not be surprised if he fired that nurse, you
And
know?
then and then the last comment I made,
I'll be back in a minute.
I literally you could
Yeah.
very easily label it as a mic drop. And this is where I took his so-called professional opinion and shove it up his backside. I said, looks like more than Mike's comment was deleted, Mike being my friend. I said, good thing Brian, that's another friend, took pictures of what he had to say about Madison. He seems to think that so many places are out to make money due to the historical nature thereof in a fraudulent manner, and that there are very few, quote, good, end quote, properties. If you
Hmm.
read the original thread, which is still up on his personal page, you'll understand where some of that's coming from. I finished with one simple that comment with one simple question. If he has such disdain for the properties that make this very field possible, why is he even involved in it?
Hmm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right, just making sure.
Yeah, you're fine.
And I think that question is the ultimate mic drop.
Yeah, I think you're right.
If you have such disdain for these properties, why are you here?
Hmm.
Now, does that mean that there aren't places out there that are doing this? Sure, there probably are. But when you go on the offense against a property that's known not to be doing that, acting like you're some kind of expert because you've done all this badass research and you were on TV, so you should be believed, give me a break. You know, transparency with all of you and with the listeners. I haven't yet met Adam Kimmel in person. I'd love to. I hope to someday. I haven't yet. I have not been to either of his properties, Madison Seminary or the Fairfield County Infirmary. Again, yet. Going to Madison Seminary next year for MadCon 4 is something I really want to try to do. You can argue, okay, you've never met the man, you've never set foot on the properties. But through my network of friends and investigators, I can tell you beyond the shadow of a doubt that Adam Kimmel is a treasure in the paranormal field. He buys these properties, he invests money in them to bring them up to code, to preserve the history of the buildings. And mind you, he's a paranormal investigator himself. He doesn't have a reason to lie to people.
Hmm.
Through the many Facebook Lives, YouTube videos, television shows, network TV shows, etc., that have all been to Madison Seminary, I have seen firsthand what he has done with his properties. And for Brandon to come out and say basically that this is all in it for money and notoriety and you're not telling the truth about it is it the biggest disgrace you could label on somebody.
Hmm.
I don't have to know Adam or have been there to know that Brandon is full of shit. And it's through the pictures that my friend Brian shared in that thread on Mike's wall where he captures Brandon specifically mentioning Madison Seminary by name.
Hmm.
I can tell this guy has not done his research.
No.
He is listed on the Wikipedia page for Ghost Hunters as the tech manager and investigator. Maybe he should stick to tech instead of acting like a historian, something he's far from qualified for.
Hey now.
Hmm.
So I
Hey
think
now,
next,
I'm a tech person.
I'm talking about paranormal tech.
I
Yeah.
know, but I'm still trying to crack a joke, a little joke here.
So
Okay.
next week, the next week's episode of Secrets of the Unknown is going to take an attention to one like stance.
Gotcha.
Paranormal television, fact or fiction.
Hmm.
Mark your calendars, be there or be square.
Yep.
Don't you mean fact or function?
Yeah, and be
Well, as
there
far as
or
Mr. Elvis is concerned, absolutely.
yeah, be there or be square or triangle.
No,
And
even
the
even better.
Rectangle.
Be no, be there or be moaning Myrtle.
Ah,
Oh my
the
god.
biggest
Moaning Myrtle was from Harry
Harry
Potter,
Potter.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
the biggest offense here, of course, being that Brandon was on Ghost Hunters, which has apparently been canceled again because there is no season 3, and he's making comments like this. It's like, okay, fame has obviously gone to his head, much like Zach Bagans. So next week we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about paranormal TV. How can you believe what you see on TV versus what you experience when you know people, when you go on investigations? Because if he's going to spread this baloney, I'm going to fight back my
Mhm.
own way.
Hmm.
I've been in one haunted place in my life, and I'll be honest, it was kind of a cool place.
What place is that? Just out of curiosity.
13 steps.
Oh yeah. I remember you telling me about that place. I've been in one so far too, and I'll be inside of an even bigger one, and possibly even more haunted one in 3 weeks.
But yeah, 13 steps for those that don't know. There's a graveyard near my city called the Lewis Cemetery, and it's a family cemetery, so most of the people in that cemetery are named Lewis,
Mhm.
like the Lewis family, and that place is freaky. Like, as in, it's called 13 steps for a specific reason. When you go up to the graveyard itself, there's a set of naturally honed in stairs that you go up, okay? And depending on the time and the conditions, the number of stairs can change. So one time you go, it can be 12 stairs. The next time, 14. Okay? Rumor is that only when you go at midnight on the dot will those stairs be 13. And during that period when it's midnight on the dot, so for like the minute or two thereof, some weird stuff starts happening. When I was there, I swore I could see through one of the gravestones, like a ghostly light behind it. And it just was like, whoa, that's trippy. So yeah, hold on a minute.
Okay.
Holding.
Holding. I'm holding. Holding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, it's like
And
when
I
I.
had a I had a slight problem with Zoom.
Oh,
I
okay.
temporarily lost the
Okay, that's fine.
broadcast, but I'm back now.
Okay. Well, anyway, going to your situation, I'm gonna tell you right now. I got a text message from a local company. Okay, they're saying, would you like to try this job? And I'm thinking, okay, well, let's see what happens. So there was a webinar today with the person who runs the place, and I will tell you right now, this is a legitimate business. One of the first things I do, I got a text message. It said it was a local company. I looked it up. It is a local company. In fact, it's not. It's barely over a mile from my house. So, and then
Good.
when we had a webinar and everything, I talked with mom about this. She said, if you want to go for this, go for it. Give it a shot. So I'm going to have an interview at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to see if I get a job.
You got this.
Yeah, you got a girl.
Yeah. So
Go.
what I do is, in a situation like this, I research it to make sure this is legit.
And this is
Right.
something that Tim is trying to push.
Hmm.
Research.
Exactly.
Do not fucking take everything to face value.
Exactly, because it's like the election. If they're first time voters, the most important thing, and I hate to say this, I think people on both sides have forgotten to do this. Do the research.
Yep.
Yeah, do the research instead of calling it phony.
Yeah, either
I
that or just don't go with a D or R constantly. You got to do the homework. Who's better qualified? You guys know I'm a Republican, but I'm going to be voting Democrat because I feel like they're the better qualified.
For
Right.
me, I always research my candidates
Mm-hmm.
beforehand. I'm kind of like you. I tend D more often than not,
Mm-hmm.
but if a Republican has ideas that I think are valid and good for that time frame, I'll vote for them.
Mm-hmm.
This year just so happens that all people with that little R behind their names are not R but T.
T.
What does Shirley call the Republican Party right now?
The Trumplicans.
Trumplicans.
Trumplicans,
No.
and that's exactly what they are.
Mm-hmm.
They're not Republicans. They're not caring about the Republic. They're only caring about what Führer von Trump thinks.
Yeah.
Don't you mean Fuhrer von Cheeto Face?
No, I'm actually using his German name.
Ah. Yeah, but
Dumpf.
yeah, it's just seriously. People don't. It's like people today just don't want to look things up to get information. You know?
Or
We've
or
gotten
or they believe sites which are known to be very biased.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so for example, Brett Bart is known to be extreme right wing bias.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Fox News, even though they try to say that they are legitimate news, tends right wing. Uh,
There's that America's Voice channel on Pluto.
that's
Oh
right wing
God, I don't
as
even pay attention to it.
I don't either.
that's right wing from hell.
Mm-hmm.
But you get what I'm saying? You got to know what your biases are too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why one of these days I'm going to try and get a certain app to sponsor our show because I think that app is perfect because it's called the News Voice app, and while we're not sponsored by them yet, I'm hoping maybe we can get that sponsorship because they actually put on the news stories what the story's bias is.
mm-hmm.
So it'll tell you if it's a Dem leaning site or a Rep leading site.
Right. And I mean, seriously, I understand. Me being working 22 years, learning is a lifelong process. You're going to learn something every single day, no matter what.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 5, 25, 50, or 200. You're going to learn something.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course, unless you're Nicholas Flamel.
Who?
Another Harry Potter reference.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yeah, but seriously, I know I've in the past few years, especially when the elections. Sorry, Mike, I've got to bring this up, but I've actually been doing the homework. I've been doing the research because it's like, okay, I may be a Republican, but Doug Jones, like Doug Jones, is a match for what I believe in, and he's the most qualified. That's the one thing I look for. I don't look for that D or R. I never have.
Okay.
I shared the link to the thread in the Facebook chat so you could see what I'm talking about. You can see the images that I've referenced.
Okay.
I have reached out in the thread to see if anybody would be interested in guesting on next week's episode.
Okay.
But I'm going to use next week's episode as a platform to really push the boundaries of this subject. Because while I respect that people are able to get gigs on TV and do what they love to do in front of a national audience, that doesn't give them the right to just, do whatever.
Yeah.
This reminds me of the Ghost Adventures episode, Demons in Seattle, where Ghost Adventures only spent 5 hours
Mhm.
at the property.
Yeah.
5 hours. No wonder they didn't find anything. They
Yeah.
were barely there.
Yeah,
More
it's
on
like
that next week.
yeah, and I'll tell you this right now. If let's say I had the chance to do something like this, one of the first things I'm going to do, look up the information. That's a
I mean,
must.
I mean, if you spent 5 days at a location, you should have a lot more information
Mhm.
than what Brandon claims to have.
Yeah. 'Cause I would certainly be spending more, a hell of a lot more than 5 hours at the property. I'd be spending like at least 2 3 days looking up the research.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
Two,
you
three
know,
days just doing research, and then at least 2 nights actually on site.
Mhm. Yeah, and because that's what drives me crazy sometimes. It's like people don't want to do the homework anymore. They don't want to do any research. They're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna stick with this answer right here." It's like, what if it's the wrong answer? What are you gonna do then? That's how I look at that.
Uh-huh.
and basically this whole thing boils down to, he talks in the deleted comments about professionalism. I don't see him displaying that professionalism.
No.
No.
When you're
Mm-mm.
when you're on TV and you're running your mouth and saying things, yeah, you better know what you're talking about.
Right.
And that does not give you the platform to start railing on things because you think something is going on.
Yeah. It's like this. It's like this interview I had with a writer from AL.com. He wanted people who were Republican, but they're going to vote for Doug Jones. Of course, I'm one of those people, and I told him straight up, I did all the homework, I did all the research. Jones is better qualified.
And what else I find interesting, and you'd have to read Brandon's original thread to get the context on this. It's one thing to say that there are people that own historical buildings that distort history for money and notoriety. Why don't you give us an example of what you're talking about, Brandon? You
Hmm.
mentioned Madison by name, but the pictures don't reference exactly what you allege is in Madison's history that would
Right.
make you say such a thing. And
Hmm.
yet you have people that have volunteered there for years, even if it's just 2 or 3 years, because mind you, he only spent 5 days there,
Hmm.
who have never seen such a thing.
Right. Yeah. Well, anyway, we are running a little bit overtime, but that's okay since thank God
And
Twitch doesn't
I'm
have a
sorry
time
for
limit.
I'm sorry for typing up the or tying up the rest of the show, but this is something that,
No,
aside from the
this is
paranormal aspect, this is something that I'm passionate about.
Oh no,
That's
that's
why
fine.
I host Secrets of the Unknown. That's
Hmm.
why I make an effort to network within the paranormal field on Facebook.
Hmm.
That's why I buy shows on iTunes and Amazon to watch and soak in the information
Hmm.
that I have.
Tim. This is what Rant Rocket Thursday is all about. Is when you have something you need to get off your chest, get it off your fucking chest. We don't need to see you
Yeah,
have
but I feel like I interrupted a subject that hadn't reached its conclusion, which
eh,
was not my intent.
That's fine.
But next week we're going and I'm actually going to title the episode Paranormal Television, Fact or Fiction. I'm not going to address just this. I'm
There's
going
other
to
cases
address it.
too.
There are other cases too, I'm sure.
Hmm.
And
Zach
so we
Bagan.
will talk about the overall impact of paranormal television on the viewers, on the fans, such as
on
this.
on on the paranormal investigation community.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you have somebody from TV running his mouth here, but I have people that aren't as famous as he is, but who have been doing it longer than he has. And like, So we'll talk about that more next Thursday on Secrets of the Unknown.
Hey, Shirley,
Yes.
before you guys go, once the show's over, I'd like to share the screen with you guys.
Okay.
Oh, I got one more thing. I got one more thing I want to
Well, that's
say.
okay.
Okay.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
Uh, this, as you know, Secrets of the Unknown has typically had a Halloween episode year after year, and we've talked in the past about properties like Bobby Mackey's, the Trans Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. We had a wonderful episode. I think it was either last year or year before, where we had three wonderful guests come on and talk about Ohio State Reformatory with us.
I think that was
Uh-huh.
last year.
I think it was
Last year.
last year. I think it was last year too. This year, I'm cooking up something big, really big,
Oh yeah.
and I
Surprise us.
well, actually, I've already posted about it, Jan. So and I don't mind that. As I have mentioned before, I will be going to Wilson Castle in Proctor, Vermont, in approximately 3 weeks. I am going to meet a number of my paranormal friends, a couple of paranormal teams that I am a huge fan of, and even a property owner and investigator that I've met twice here at my local expo. And we're going to investigate Wilson Castle, which is still relatively unknown within the paranormal community. There have been some investigations done, especially lately, but still largely unknown. And I decided, what better way to celebrate Halloween, especially considering the dates of my trip, than to share my trip with all of you afterwards.
Mhm.
So on October 29th, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, which is our usual start time, uh, I'm going to host Secrets of the Unknown Wilson Castle,
Mhm.
which is going to discuss the history and haunts of the castle. We're going to talk about the Halloween event that I'm attending. We're going to talk about if it's out by then, or information about it. Dead Republic Paranormal's second documentary, which is called Goodwill Haunting, that was filmed at Wilson Castle. Uh, and I've already got 4 guests booked, and about 4 more possibly, and several more outstanding invitations.
Yep.
This
Eh,
is going to be huge,
mhm.
and I mean huge.
Yeah, and this is gonna be one that this is. I'm gonna say this is gonna be a lot more than 1 hour.
Oh yeah, I'd say probably an hour and a half to 2 hours,
Yeah.
easily.
Honestly, here's what I think. I think for that day we should actually have the episode start pretty early, so maybe 8:30, maybe 8 if needed, just so that we can, because like Shirley tends to get very tired by about 10 o'clock.
Good idea.
Yeah.
I
That might be a
will.
good idea.
I'm not trying to be mean or anything.
I
No,
know. You're fine. You're
I
fine.
know, Frodo. I just announced it at 10 Eastern because that's our usual start time.
But it is subject to change. So.
If pending guest availability,
Mhm.
I do want to establish that. If people aren't going to be available that early, and let's face it, some people might not be, we may keep it at 10 o'clock Eastern,
Right. So
where it
we'll
is now.
play it by ear.
Uh, I
More than
have
one ear, I hope.
I have Mike Hatcher of Dead Republic Paranormal is going to be on. He's actually going to join us next week too. By the way,
All right. Cool.
he's down to talk paranormal TV with us,
Great.
and I am very tight with Dead Republic Paranormal. Uh, John Ward was on the OSR episode. He is the founder of Dead Republic Paranormal. So this is the same group, just a different member. And Mike will join us next week to talk about paranormal television, fact or fiction. Mike is also one of them I'm going to be meeting at Wilson Castle. He will be back with us for that episode.
Okay.
And then I'm also going. I got the 3 members of Duo Demonology will be joining us. Uh, that is James Anito and Carl L. Johnson. James Anito is a seminarian and theologian, and Carl Johnson's an actual investigator and more. I would say more on the science side of it. Well, they both are kind of on the science side of it, but he's been dealing with demonic cases for decades.
Mhm.
And I have actually saw, if you ever watched The Haunted on Animal Planet, the Animal Planet, there was an episode that he was on with Mike Rixick that I've watched. He's also on the first couple seasons of Ghost Hunters and some other stuff. And they're both demonologists. And
Mhm.
then of course there's the third member. I guess she's, I guess, kind of like an office manager type. Her name is Elise. remember her full name. I have to go back and look it up. But she's going to join us as well. And then I have at least four other people that John Ward being one of them, who actually five people. I forgot I added a fifth one who might join. So we are going to have a large number of guests for that episode. And I should note that
Somebody's been busting his butt, haven't they?
Oh yeah.
would any of you question how passionate I am about the subject?
Nope. We know.
No.
We know how you are.
mean,
It's like,
I mean, you might not share the interest to the level that I have it, but I'm serious about this. This is something that's very important to me, and I'm not trying to fill up the show with a ton of guests, but I also want to point out that each and every single person that I just read
Oh,
off,
you little shit.
and all of the maybes
hmm
are people I will see at Wilson Castle in the flesh.
right.
Okay, guys, I just posted something in the BTA thing, in the
hmm
BTA private chat on Facebook, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. If you've never been to the website before, do it. But I'm gonna try and see what we can do with that.
Okay. Cool. I just read it. All right. But anyway,
Nice.
Right, but anyway, let's face it, we're all passionate about what we do. Because you guys remember last night, I was very passionate about, you know, the fact that we had three shows with big anniversaries. So, and of course, we had the screw up on the first take, but thank goodness, Twitch can do a second. Thank you. but but seriously, we all have our passions about different things. Mike, you are the gaming. You're basically our gaming expert.
Yep.
Yeah, Tim is the paranormal expert. I'm the tune expert.
What
And
kind
I
of
am an
expert
expert
would
at
I be?
nothing.
No, Janet, not everybody is an expert, but you
You,
know it as long as you know something. That's okay.
Janet, you may not be what would be classified as an expert in any specific thing, but you don't need to be, because
Mhm.
here's your role of the show. And this is me speaking honestly. You're the glue that holds everyone together.
Mhm.
I am. How do you figure that?
Well, let's see. How often is it that you may not say much, but when you do, it's really good stuff. Would you guys agree with me on that?
Yes.
See.
How about you, Oracle?
Oh, she's muted herself.
Uh, Oracle. I think you might have fallen asleep. There we go.
Oh, there she
Yeah,
is.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean it. I mean, the most important thing is this. It's like if like contributing to a charity or something. You may not be able to contribute too much, but every little bit helps.
Exactly.
I'm gonna let you guys go. I got a knock at the door.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, of course, tomorrow night, is still going to be called Nearly Naughty Mad Libs. Of course, all the titles will change next week. But seriously, be passionate about what you do. Don't be afraid to show it off. Okay? And don't worry about what the rest of the world thinks of you, too. Because if you spend your life trying to please everybody, you'll be unhappy for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you little turd shit.
Oh my!
I hope that doesn't get me in trouble.
No, it
Oh,
won't.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, but seriously, Tim's very passionate about the
Game.
paranormal. Mike is
Oh my
passionate about his video games. I'm passionate about my cartoons. We all have our different
And I crack
passions.
jokes once in a while.
Yeah.
Usually not at the best of times, but
No, it's okay. Hey, bad puns work too. Bad puns,
yeah.
jokes. We have to joke off once in a while.
I'm just now looking. I'm playing Dynamite,
Mhm.
and then they have a save button and a pause button, and
Mhm.
this red circle.
Uh
The two buttons look like a pair of eyes, and the red circle looks like an open mouth.
oh. That's funny.
Hey,
All right. So
okay.
anyway, we're gonna
Well,
go ahead.
thanks for making me feel good.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna wrap things up for tonight. By saying this, think about what Tim's saying. He's very passionate about him. Be passionate about something you love. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be afraid of what the rest of the world thinks. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that's
Exactly.
the whole idea. You got, just be yourself. Don't worry about a thing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to
Be me. I'm good at being me.
yeah, or this is probably my all-time favorite quote. The Hawaii Five-O episode Hook Man when Danny Williams said, "Be you. It's very you of you."
I like that.
Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite quotes. And unbelievable was when McGarrett was having to try to avoid being hit by a sniper. But I love that line. Period. All right. So in any case, I'm gonna play the ending first. So hang on for 10 seconds.
Shit.
And I forgot to add the Discord part. I'll do that this weekend.
Oh my.
All right. So in any case, everybody have a great night. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Sleep well, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow for the nearly naughty Mad Libs. Sleep well, everybody. Night.
Night.
Buenas noches, mis amigos.
Sometimes I feel like totally helpless.
Well, you're not, okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're
All
not.
right. Night, y'all.
You're not leaving, are you?
No, no, no. I'm just ending this.
And in the show, we haven't ended it yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shirley.
Well,
Did
hold
you
on.
get an email?
Hold on.